the most recent episode. So if you have not seen the most recent episode of The Handmaid's Tale, please scroll past this video because there are spoilers ahead. I can't believe how this episode ended, but let's just kind of break down the entire episode. And I'm going from memory, so if I skip some important parts, please forgive me. I have a brain like Dory from the Disney movie Finding Nemo. I will have a full-blown, complete thought, and within 2.2 seconds, I will lose that thought completely in the universe and cannot get it back. My sister and I are still trying to remember something that I was going to talk about like 5 Saturdays ago, and I still can't remember what it was, and it was kind of important, and I can't remember what it was. But anyway, wanted to talk about the most recent episode of Handmaid's Tale. So let's see, let's break down the episode. I mean, I can't remember anything else except the ending, which is Luke giving away the plan, giving away Mayday's plan of assassinating all of the commanders at Jezebel's that following week. So all of the work that June, well, not June, because she she's a part of Mayday now, but she didn't do all of the work. All of the work was Luke, all of these people that are, working for Mayday, Moira, and, and now June, and all of that was absolutely for nothing because Luke was in the hot seat, and he basically, why can't I find my words? Oh my God, why can't I remember? He went against the plan. Oh my God, why can't I remember the word? What did he do to June? Oh my God, this is crazy. Not revenge. He betrayed her. He betrayed her. But the thing is, if he didn't betray her, he was going to be on the wall. He was going to be assassinated, or not assassinated, he was going to be killed because his wife's father was, put him in the hot seat and was like, look, tell me what's going on. The father, okay, so now I'm all over the place. So, and again, Dory, please remember Dory. So, Luke got home from Jezebel's, from being with June. I mean, she was actually in the car, in the parking lot. And he said, if I'm not back in 5 minutes, go to Serena's house down the way. But he gets into his house and High Commander Warden? Anyway, he's another W. He basically says to Luke, look, I heard you was at Jezebel's. What was you doing there? Did you cheat on my daughter? And he's like, no, I didn't cheat on your daughter. Like, no. All right, so what was you doing there? And Luke was like, I had to take care of some business. And he's like, all right, what's the business? And Luke was like, it was some very, high level, secretive business. And then he's like, okay, I am who I am. What was the business? Explain. And then it cuts to next scene. And then you can imagine, he was in the hot seat. I'm sure that his booty was on the line and Luke gave up the goods. I am sick. And then what makes me feel so sad in my heart for this show, since we're talking about the show, is, he really did try to tell June, like, let's run away together. Let's go and live life and let's go to, where was it, Paris? Yeah, Paris. Let's go to Paris and, and do us and be together forever. And June is buying it. And she's just like, eyes all, ooh. And then Commander gets to Serena's door, she lets him in, and he is just gushing about how much of a great servant to Gilead Luke is, and he had his reservations about him and was worried about him, but he has come through, and the resistance, or the Mayday people, they really got close this time and they were going to do some damage, but Nick saved Gilead. Oh my God. If I could have crossed my eyes, I would have done that in that second. But June, it's like she was sucker punched in the stomach. And she looks at him, and then they go to this very moment of light and music, and Luke is no longer there, and they're no longer in a closet hiding. She's standing there, and oh my God. So my question is, having seen that scene and being, on the fence with this triad of people, which is Luke, June, and Nick, there's times that I'm rooting for June and Luke to make it because they have a daughter together and, they're trying to get their daughter back. And then there's moments where I'm like, oh my God, June and Nick, the chemistry is there. You can see it. It's a very intense, passionate type of a relationship, given the circumstances that they were under. It's a beautiful thing to see that, sometimes love does prevail and all those good things. But so I equally, or maybe a little bit more, I'll be honest, I think I like June with Nick more. Luke, for me, he doesn't do it. He hasn't done it since season 1, 2, and 3, and he's definitely not doing it now. I think he's a very solid stand-up guy. There's so many scenes with Luke, with the things that he does. I mean, him taking Nicole and raising her and, you know, taking care of her, to me, that is, you know, not many men would do something like that. And I know, given the situation in this show, in this world of Gilead that resides out of Boston and Brookline, which is also very crazy to me, in this universe, that, you know, he's really a really decent stand-up guy. And Nick, ironically, is not the best guy in the world. I mean, we're seeing his backstory, right? His backstory is that, you know, he was in between jobs. He didn't know what his thing was. I believe his mother passed early on. I'm vague with that, but, you know, he said it to June in the last episode, you know, on the outside, you never would have looked at me. I was nothing on the outside. He said something along the lines of that. And that's what I remember it. And, you know, and then I think back to it was season 2 or season 1, when they showed a little bit of the backstory of Nick at an unemployment office trying to get a job, and he couldn't get a job. And then one of these commanders that was I believe at that time he was a high commander, you know, kind of recruited him and took him under his wing and saw something in him when a fight broke out. And he was defending someone, or he was defending himself. So, yeah, so I think, you know, and even with that, I still would root for June and Nick, even though he is not, you know, the best type of guy. And I mean, even June's mom, she said, you know, he's an eye. You know, eyes are not good people, and she's been around a lot of them. But, you know, I don't think Nick is a bad guy at heart. I just think that he has been put in situations that have his back against the wall, and it's a situation of it's either me or them, and, you know, he does things that are perceived as bad, or are bad things. But anyway, so I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. I just thought that this episode was crazy. I mean, Serena even marrying this guy, I don't feel any chemistry between them two. The kiss was very, very forced and strange. And he seems like he's going to be a control freak as well, but he says he's not. So we will see what happens. But this is my 2 cents on the last episode of The Handmaid's Tale. I had to talk about it because it is a fave. I feel like they're rushing it. I don't feel like these stories are as deep as they should be, given the fact that we had to wait 3 years. But more to come on this. Have a good day, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.